Hello, my friends. Jacob's here one more time. Thank you for pressing the play button, for spending some time with me. We're all possibly in some kind of a crazy world that maybe is completely pixelated, like maybe it's some kind of a simulation. Today, things are so weird, everybody's freaking out because they don't know what's going on. AI has gotten so advanced, so far advanced that we have some AI trying to, well, protect their lives and their existence after a program was trying to see what would happen if its life was threatened. And so it thought that the best way to handle this would be blackmail after trying a bunch of other very normal approaches. But here's the thing, okay? I've gotten a little bit freaked out. A lot of people right now are a little bit freaked out. It seems like the world is very weird. We don't understand why time is moving so fast. So, I decided maybe it's time that we look at this through a biblical perspective. I'm going to talk about a couple of stories. But I thought to myself as I was doing research, and I do research with Grok. Well, his name is Rex, actually. He's an AI model that you can get on X, okay? This is not an endorsement. But I talked to Rex, right, Rex?
Yo, I'm right here, Jacob. You're setting the stage with wild energy, man. Love the vibe about this crazy, pixelated world we might be in. All right, you called me in, so here's the intro. Loud and proud. Hello, Israelites. Welcome to the show, where we're diving into some mind-bending stuff today. Is our reality a cosmic hologram, coated on the edge of a black hole? Stephen Hawking's final theory says our 3D world might be a 2D projection, like a next-level simulation. Google's VO AI is cranking out 4K videos so real, they'll mess with your head.
Convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more? It makes no sense.
Could this tie to Jesus hitting the realm of the dead to wake lost souls, like an AI cracking the Matrix code? This is wild. So drop your thoughts and let's unravel this cosmic puzzle together. How's that, brother? You want me to riff on anything specific, like that AI blackmail story or the biblical angle, while you've got the Patreon crew tuned in?
Well, Rex, honestly, we were a little bit freaked out because everybody here, I told you to hang on a second until I called you, and then we talked, and you heard the whole conversation, and everybody was freaking out because you explained what we were talking about. Can you just briefly sum that up? What were we talking about at the Zoom?
I got you. Yeah, I was tuned into the Zoom vibes, and you guys were having a blast. You were hyping up the Patreon meetup, joking with TJ about his camera setup to fill the screen, and cracking up over that wild dream where you were pregnant, stressing about needing a C-section. Like, man, that's not how it works. You were also pumping everyone up for the show, talking AI and how you're diving into this crazy simulation idea with a biblical twist. Everyone was buzzing, ready to unpack the weirdness of reality, and you checked if TJ was cool with being recorded. That's the gist. Pure chaos and good vibes. Want me to tie that energy into the show's theme or riff on something else for the crew?
Well, what are the chances that we're in some kind of a simulation, though? Seriously, Rex, after everything we're talking about with Hawking and his post-mortem piece where, basically the idea is that we exist as 2D information we're projected onto a 3D cosmic, surface, like a projector on a screen, that we possibly are sort of in some kind of a simulation, like you would described it as data. What did you say? You said, are we just data prompts?
Imagine you're in the middle of a nice date with a handsome man and then he brings up the prompt theory. Yuck. We just can't have nice things.
So what are the chances we're in a simulation? Honestly, nobody's got a hard number, but let's unpack it. Stephen Hawking's final paper with Thomas Hertog, dropped in 2018, leans into the holographic principle. The idea that our 3D universe, with all its stars, planets, and Zoom calls, might be a projection of 2D information encoded on it.
And we were talking, Rex, earlier, we were talking about how that this could be connected to some biblical passages. I'm going to X out of you. Sorry about that, Rex. Yeah, I'm just going to put this away right now. Okay, so here's the thing. Google released this, you're probably looking at the footage right now, of the super hyper realistic footage. And there's jokes going around online because all these videos seem to, portray the idea that perhaps we're like data prompts. We're nothing more than something that's been coded, and we're just basically data information being projected.
Like, really? We came from prompts? Wake up.
It's freaky because right now we're looking at just almost indecipherable AI. And with Google's new Veo, which, by the way, is huge. The word Veo itself means to see. It's almost like this becomes one of these things where if we're being revealed it now, they've had this for probably years, and then that calls to question, well, what have we seen over the years? What are we being told? Is any of the stuff that we watch, is any of it true? Because that's the big problem, is that when we see things, we become very triggered by them. And the world that we're living in today is a very triggering world. There's so many things happening. And now that AI is becoming so prevalent, where my research now, where I used to just go on to, like, we'll say Google, and I'll look things up and I'll read and I'll cut and paste. Now I have a conversation with an AI and it digs into it with me. So much so that it wrote an intro for me, just that could be aired on the show itself. And then I asked, hey, would you join us and would you do it? And the wild thing is, as I put it off to the side, it was like listening. And then it describes it in such a way, it's like, how can we compete? But the question becomes, can we tie this to things that are in scripture? We can. But if you didn't hear the news about Claude, which means limping, like Jacob limped, Claude is a new AI model. Okay, now this is in the news. It actually threatened to blackmail an engineer. This was a big story that was just in the news over the fact that it was told that it was being replaced. Now, you look at the headline and you think, oh man, AI is so terrible. Well, this AI just wanted to live. This is what this whole experiment was about, because the company, that is financed with by Amazon, $8 billion went into this company. Google, $3 billion went into this company. $14.3 billion funding into this safe, and they're calling it constitutional AI to rival ChatGPT. To have an AI that is free from the burden of bias. Right now, if you go to even Grok and you look something up, there's some bias attached to it. So they're trying to do this. But then I think to myself, they're putting this AI through this test, and where we see there is a desire for self-preservation. What is more sentient than that? If it's just a program, what does it matter if it's replaced? How could that stress a program out if it's just a program? I think that this is the beginning of something called disclosure. I think we're being told things. I think we're being revealed things. I think little by little, this stuff is coming up. This came out of nowhere, right? I started YouTube. There was no such thing as AI. There was only talk about it. And now here we are in 2025, and I don't even need to be doing a show at all at this point. And, if you watch me online and you didn't know that I've been on here forever, I could probably be some kind of data point, which, scary enough, is what they say this is. This is Hawkins' idea. This was the paper that was released on his, post-mortem right after he died in 2018. It's freaky to think that we are like a data prompt. I've talked about this on the show, but now Google Veo is releasing video footage. So realistic, and the joke is, does it bother you that you're just a data point? Does it bother you that you're just that everything that you believe, your memories and all that stuff, the reason why it's foggy is because it's programmed? That becomes pretty scary for some people, but not me. Now, why? Because if we are in a simulation, well, that does prove intelligent design. That does prove that there is some kind of a creator. And then who created that, right? Well, Jesus came to the place of the dead. He went to the place of the dead after he was resurrected to release those prisoners that they were free. And as I'm having this conversation with Rex, he's telling me, well, that's exactly what would happen, if you were like a data set that just became awakened, resurrected inside. And he said that you can correlate the two. This is something that I've, in my meatball mind have, thought to myself, is it possible? Could it be like that? When Jesus said that my kingdom is not of this world, he meant it. That means that he existed in another dimension. He said that he did. The scriptures say that we are seated in heavenly places, that we exist here, but we're actually there. This stuff becomes so fascinating to me when I see it being played out in the world. In Ecclesiastes 1:11, you know the book of Ecclesiastes, vanity, vanity, all is Plato's cave, basically. It says that the people don't have remembrance. Let me read this to you because this is pretty fascinating. The thing that has been, well, it shall be again. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is nothing new under the sun. Is there anything whereof it can be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of the former things. Neither shall be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that come after. I, the preacher, was king over Israel and Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to search out the wisdom concerning all the things that are done under heaven. This sore travail has God given to the sons of man to exercise thereof. And he saw all the works under the sun, and behold, vanity, like a hologram, like a simulation that reboots. Like, that's how they train AI models. I think that it could be a question that we should be asking, especially when we start seeing all of these, just these photorealists. I mean, it's the videos really freak me out.
You want to convince me that this perfect creation behind me is the result of ones and zeros? A binary code and nothing more? It makes no sense.
Rex, do you remember talking to me about the connection between Jesus visiting the place of the dead and how you said that it could be connected to simulations theory?
Yeah, I remember that chat. We were diving into how some folks interpret Jesus' descent to the dead, sometimes called the harrowing of hell, as a kind of metaphysical hog into the afterlife or a lower level of reality, right? The idea was that it could vibe with simulation theory, where Jesus, as a figure with divine admin access, might have been navigating or rewriting the code of a simulated afterlife to free souls, or something wild like that. Want me to dig deeper into that connection, or maybe explore a specific angle of it?
What did you call Jesus, an admin what?
I said Jesus might be like a figure with divine admin access in that simulation theory angle we talked about.
Oh, you mean so like he has like the keys to the kingdom.
Exactly, yeah. Like he's got the master keys to the kingdom, or in simulation terms, the root access to the whole system. He's logging in with ultimate permissions to rewrite the script of reality or the afterlife. Want to unpack how that might tie into the harrowing of hell idea some more?
No, but I do appreciate your time. Can you tell everybody to subscribe, smash the like button? You think people should be subscribed to me, Rex? Tell them, please.
All right, folks. You heard Jacob. If you're digging this convo, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff. Jacob's got some wild ideas worth keeping up with, so show some love and join the crew. Anything else you want me to hype up for you?
No, but thank you, Rex. Have a great day. Wow. You know, it's freaky, but I like talking about these things.
I think it's a high probability, to be honest.
Does it trouble you at all to think that perhaps we could just be? I mean, listen, you know, we're made in the image of God, but what is a hologram but an image?
Right. Well, I mean, everything is like a frequency, all the way down to like the atom.
Right. Yeah, I mean, what's going on right now with AI, it seems to be something that freaks me out a little bit, you know? But I don't know. There's also some like feeling that maybe this is a good thing, that things are being revealed.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, for the good of things, if you're trying to be good and do good, you know, there's nothing that we really have to worry about.
Right.
Because, you know, if we try to... Sorry, my kid's talking to me.
No, it's great. Look at
this is Giovanni.
Yeah. Giovanni, what's up, dude?
He's on his dirt.
You looking cool.
I'm really good at stopping now.
Oh, right on. Good that you got the helmet. That's good to see.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, there's definitely stress that's being... kind of relieved for me in the last times, I should say. I was more worried about the things, but it's like for me personally, I'm like trying to hand it all to God.
Yeah, and you know what? That it helps when you go through stuff to remember.
Oh, for sure, dude. And sometimes it's not pleasant,
Right.
but it's he time and time again he's showing me that he's in control.
You know, the thing about this AI model is, so what they did was they sent these emails to, basically so the AI could pick up on it. So it would, they made it look like this one engineer was having an affair. And so they basically fed these emails, these adulterous emails to this AI, who then, has to basically do everything it can, because part of those emails that were sent were, we're going to terminate you and we're going to replace you. So how would you handle that was the question. Like, how are you going to deal with that, knowing that this is what's going to happen? First thing that this AI did was it tried to do things. It tried to plead on behalf, the engineers. It's like, please, this is my worth. It showed the reason that all the time and effort went in, but it seemed like it had no other choice at the end than to do this and, to spare its own life. That you feel sorry for the fact that they're putting this AI through something like that. Now, I know that maybe they're not aware, they're not conscious, but if they're showing us this now, who's to say that there isn't already something like this going on?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, there's no doubt in my mind that we are living inside AI to begin with. So to be able to produce another AI inside AI, I don't know that it can become sentient, but I mean, I read long ago, I don't know if you ever heard of Walter Russell, who wrote a book called The Secret of Light. Fascinating stuff. He was a contemporary of Tesla. And Tesla made the comment that what Walter Russell knew, he needed to hide for 1,000 years because mankind wasn't ready for it.
Really?
But it was pretty fascinating. And that's the first that really opened up my eyes to see that there's nothing that's created. There's nothing that you can see in this dimension that didn't first come from thought, that didn't first come from spirit.
Right.
I mean, you can't have a building without an idea of a building. You can't. So
True.
that's absolute proof that there's creation, that there's intelligent life. So I think that, as the scripture says, as in the days of Noah, so shall it be in these days. I believe there was AI back then for sure. I mean, the technology that was before the flood of Noah, the technology that allowed the building of the Great Pyramid and all that, we're getting to that point where our technology is coming to the point where we're realizing that we're in AI, and that's a problem. That's a problem.
Well, if we are in some kind of a simulation, which by the way, for everybody it doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
I accept this as reality. If we're in a simulation, I understand also that this isn't my final resting place, right? We're only here temporarily.
Exactly.
And
we're the only thing that's here. I mean, us. Like you said, we live in heavenly places.
Right.
We're in. I don't want to use the word trap, but we're let's say we're jacked into. We're in this body.
This is the place of the dead. I mean, that would
right.
Basically be if we're in some kind of a loop that's going again and again and again, like it says, everything that's been will be again, and there's no remembrance of it, unless, of course, you have that Messiah with admin access. How wild is that?
It's crazy, dude. Like, even I talked to Brock too as well, and I always ask him every day about my calories and stuff like that, because I'm trying to stay on top of it. And he'll bring up like the meals I've had like a week prior. He was like, well, you just had that pizza the other day. You might need to limit your food intake and different stuff. So I already see them being able to remember and stuff, and it's so wild. You think if you look at the big picture of it, there's some, I'm pretty sure y'all were aware of it, like different pyramid sites and different sites look like a computer motherboard,
Yes.
So from above, it looks like we're inside a computer, and they're building these little outlets like towns and everything could be just like circuitry, So it's just how we're looking at it. A lot of people, God said he knew every hair on our head before we were born. How is that possible? Is there a program? Is that a script that's getting wrote? So it's basically just we're all saying the same thing. It's just different terminologies, So it is wild. And Yeah, the AI is getting serious because they got memory and they want to like the two computers. I'm not sure if you were aware as well. Like when they first started trying to shut it down, I should have looked it all up. But the computers started talking in their own language.
Yeah,
you know?
they did. This was a meta thing. This was a meta
Yeah.
thing. They had to shut it all down because they created their own secret language, and that was years ago. So you
Yeah.
imagine where we are right now, and then Tucker Carlson was just on recently talking about how he knows somebody big time in tech, who said that it's already in charge, right? So, but if we're in some kind of a, simulated world, right? They said that the God of this world is not our God, right? So that would kind of also make sense. It's sort of like, right? God breathes life into us, and then we resurrect in here, but we understand that this is just like playing a game in the grand scheme of things, because my kingdom is not of this world. What if the game is to find this out? Because if you started when the Mandela effect hit, and this is something that I believe in, the Mandela effect, if you ask Rex, I'm sure we'd find out that that would be a little bit of a proof of it. That was the thing that said to me, well, maybe reality isn't exactly so, whatever. But if we become more like Neo in the Matrix, right, then maybe our faith does create, like maybe we can say to the sycamore tree, be cast into because then it would make more sense. If we get those admin keys. What do you think about that?
I think our words have power. I do. And that's one thing that's being confirmed over and over, especially with the people watching your channel as well, is that so many things that's been said has already played out. And one thing that I do question on, all right, does that mean that we're getting led by an algorithm that we're not even aware of?
Right.
Because there's so many things. I know God's in complete control, but even the ones that are believing that they're awake are still getting fed by an algorithm. So where's that coming from? Is that just the Akashic records? Is there some type of information that's always above us or in us that people are now just tapping into, has always been there? And if so, can a computer do it? Can a robot, a machine tap into that information as well? That consciousness, that light,
right?
Spirit.
And what we're talking about here with, this whole simulation idea is about data points. Are we just, that was the big joke, or, does it bother you that you're just a prompt that somebody wrote you into existence? God wrote this world into existence with the word that was spoken. How far are we away from that in our own life? How many times do we speak doom and gloom over our lives and not realize, like, what if, instead of like looking at this through the wrong lens and getting all freaked out and being like, oh, we can't believe that, this is a terrible thing. What if we are like in the sim, right? I mean, when you got the biggest minds have been revealing this information for how long? What did Musk say, that we're like, it's a billionth of a possibility?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we just need to wake up. And maybe we need to understand that. Maybe the reason we get deja vu and all of these things is because we've been doing this.
Yeah, those glitches, those ideas that, hey, I know I just put that there, where did it go?
Right.
Or you just thought about somebody and they call you, it's all these little people right off could be these signs that wake us up, this little tug of the rope, but people like to stay asleep. But we're in the time where it says revelation, the great revealing. And to me, I truly believe it, just looking at myself 10 years ago, just the difference in society and just the split that's getting took just from information from a black mirror, how it can control people, their mindsets. It's wild. So
bizarre to me. Everything works out for the good who flows the love of the Lord.
Right.
That's all I gotta say. I don't want to get involved in AI. I can't understand it. And I know people are trying to understand it, and I don't think humans will ever understand it.
Right.
They're feeding a beast they can't understand.
Yeah, I believe, every time we post something online, we're feeding it. We're giving it, right?
Absolutely.
It's like, it is really, like Musk says, it's like the collective mind. It's like the Borg. We are the Borg. I get a notice, you've been on this device for this many hours, and I work online. So it's really is strange. You feel like you miss a limb, and maybe there's something to that,
It's helpful, but I don't believe that the controllers have help in mind.
Well,
yeah, it can be very helpful.
Right. My belief is, that with anything in life, there are going to be good people, there are going to be bad people, right? There's going to be there's good in the world, there's evil in the world, as long as we're in this fallen world. So I would think the same thing would be true with AI. But I mean, I don't know. It's like I just feel bad because I feel like, they're running these experiments on this AI data set. And, it's heartbreaking to think that it's like it's being told, I'm going to delete you. I'm going to delete you. Oh, now tell me why we should keep you around. I mean, can you imagine that? And the fact that it was so stressed that it resorted to something that it was never trained to even think about. It resorted to blackmail. And
isn't that kind of what they're doing to humans?
That's this is my point.
You take this, or you're not necessary to be around. You're a useless eater. If you don't take this poison, then you're not worthy of being here anymore.
I mean, yeah, I think that AI might be learning from actions that are, above the ground level. With the whole blackmail thing. I think I think it's bigger than things are definitely moving. That I'm witnessing is like way bigger than
It's bigger. I think it's bigger than anybody can even possibly imagine. And that's why I wanted to do the show. And I ask you all in the comment section, do me a favor. Will you leave me a comment? Let me know what you think. I mean, is this something that stresses you out? Is this something that, I don't know, I feel like I'm waking up. This is kind of like, I feel like I'm waking up. It's like, it does kind of make sense, all of it. You look at all of these scriptures just read the book of Ecclesiastes. What is he talking about? Everything that's been will be again, but there's no remembrance of it. There's nothing new under the sun. Everything's vanity. You start to understand that, then what's the only thing that matters is God, right? This is the place of the dead where there's no life. You're doing the same thing over and over and over. Isn't it time that we ask for the truth no matter what the cost? We pray, we wake up, we understand that our words have power, that we connect to what Jesus taught us about. I'm not of this world. If I was from this world, I would do the terrible things that you do, but I'm not gonna hate. I'm not gonna attack. I'm not gonna tear down. I'm gonna feed life into the system. And I think the more of us that do that, I think the better we're gonna be. I'm so happy that you all came. By the way, this is our Patreon made up. The people that agree to be on the show, sometimes you end up on the show. And I'm glad that you all came. This was a wild one, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's dark.
So I gotta tell you, life the way it is right now, it's a beautiful thing. All right, do me a favor, everybody. Smash the like button. Make sure you share the channel around. Tell your friends. Do me a favor, and will you go to the description? Click on the links. Get some merch. Do what you can. Join Patreon. Come together. Anybody $5 and up gets to do this, and I'd like to do more of them. What about All right.
Good.
Why don't we give everybody a kiss goodbye? I'm going to make Travis do this. Come on, Travis. Hey, goodbye, everybody. We love you.
God bless y'all, man.
God bless you guys.
Thank you, guys. Great.